Stay savage, your boy Shino Bentro. What's poppin'? Today we are back with some what ifs. Yes, it's been a minute since we had the what ifs on the channel, so if you guys don't know what this is where I give you hypothetical scenarios for the Naruto world, the Naruto universe, Boruto, as well as a lot of different animes. I just haven't branched out to the other animes yet. So basically what I do is I throw out a random scenario, or I pull a random scenario from the comment section. So if you have like a scenario that you want to throw in the comment section that you want me to talk about, make sure you leave it down below. I pulled this one from the comment section just like I pulled a few others. Now with that being said, if you guys are excited for today's episode, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for daily content. We about to get it lit. We're about to talk about what if the Akatsuki was in Boruto the Next Generation Naruto. Yes, what if the Akatsuki made a return in Boruto the Next Generation Naruto? But there's a few twists on it. So with that being said, let's get in today's video. Let's get it.
Whipping all this double bitty chopper. We fuck all you bitches at the trap house. I can't trust you, I can't give you real address. I can't trust you, I can't give you real address. They don't mean that be like Jerry Stacker. I might fall in love with my trap house.
Alright, so basically we're about to talk about the Akatsuki. So I'm going to give you a breakdown before I get into the complete what if scenario. But the thing is, you all know that we're talking about the Akatsuki if the Akatsuki was to make a return in Boruto the Next Generation Naruto, or Boruto Naruto's Next Generation. It has like so many variants to like flip that shit. But basically we're going to talk about the creation. So a lot of people probably thinking like, what if the Akatsuki came back? They thinking in their head, the first thing you think is, oh, they're going to try to do Infinite Tsukuyomi again, or they're going to be bad guys again. The thing is, if you actually look back into the past creation of the Akatsuki, if you look into Nagato's, Yahiko, and Conan's past, they originally created it as a mercenary group that was bent on keeping peace and stopping violence and stopping war from breaking out. So basically they'll pick up like these little side jobs, basically preventing massive things from happening. They try to overthrow evil shinobi lords. They really was doing it for the right cause. Now like the original purpose of it, it wasn't really so much as a bad thing, but you know, we did have some shadowy hands working in the background, which was like Black Zetsu, who was pretending to be White Zetsu and mixed with regular Zetsu, and then we had the boy Obito, who was working for Madara. So obviously there were some plot twists and some shadowy hands in the background, but these three people that originally wanted the Akatsuki to be like this peaceful mercenary group, basically wanting them to be this shinobi group that was renowned and known all throughout the land as this group that's basically searching for peace. They all had the same goal. They didn't want to have war. They didn't believe in violence, so they believed in like taking out the tyrants. That way they could have peace in the shinobi world. And if you think about it, that was like the ultimate goal of the Infinite Tsukuyomi, was to provide peace. That's what Madara as well as Obito thought it was. They were thinking about creating a dream world where everybody could dream the same dream, everybody could be happy, they could get what they wanted. But you know, we had Black Zetsu in the background that was lurking about some other shit. You know, he was plotting on a whole different level, and he was not thinking like, you know, I want peace. This man was trying to bring back Kagura. And so I said Kaguya. I'm tripping. But like, you know, they had a lot of different like scenarios and a lot of different reasonings for what the Akatsuki did. Now if we talk about like, you know, the members of the Akatsuki, like if you look at the beginning group, it was more like a peaceful foundation, but as the time went on, you start seeing like some S-rank criminals get involved. You know, you start seeing people that was of like super high stature. Like I'm talking about the most dangerous ninjas across the land. So you know, that's when it started to develop and start to twist and change it to a different type of group. It wasn't the initial group that Yahiko, Nagato, and Conan basically thought it was gonna be. So basically we got people like Kisame, who basically was a 7 ninja swordsman who murdered his whole classroom, you know, and able to become a 7 ninja swordsman. We had people like Itachi, who murdered his own clans, but it was for personal intentions in terms of saving his little brother and to protect the village. But if you look at it from an outside perspective, you see him as basically this man that slaughtered everybody. We had Sasori, who basically went after his own father, you know, the Kazekage. He basically snatched his body up. You know, he basically couldn't deal with his parents anymore. He just went insane. You know, this man was crazy with the puppets, but he just couldn't take that shit no more. So you know, you got those aside. Then we have Datara, who was basically this man that didn't care about anybody but art, so he would do anything with his art, basically trying to kill everybody off. We had a lot of different unique characters in Akatsuki in terms of like villainous. Like in the beginning, you know, it started off as a peaceful organization like I stated, but if you watch like the progression of it, the way the group started building up, you know, you started getting people that was really like fucking insane. We had Hidan, you know, basically was an immortal, the Jashin shit. Like bro, this man didn't fucking give a fuck about nothing. He only give the fuck about sacrificing shit to his god and basically doing whatever the fuck he wanted because he was immortal. As well as Kaguzu, who didn't really have a personal interest in terms of war or like what's good or bad. He mostly just wanted money, so he would always go on bounty hunts. He always hunt for like a really high bounty and shit like that. So that was his whole purpose of joining. So at one point, everybody thought the goal of the Akatsuki was to get the tail beasts, collect them, and sell them off, basically so they can extort them and basically incite war. So if you need the tail beast, you know, I got a tail beast, you pay me this amount, and you know, I give you a tail beast. That way you can use it against the war. But that was not the issue. The overall issue was the infinite Tsukuyomi, right? But the thing is, you know, Conan and them, they really didn't want that organization to be like that. They didn't want it to go under that like jurisdiction. They didn't want it to be like that evil group, but you know, that's what they later on got, because that's what they thought they could accomplish by the infinite Tsukuyomi dream. But basically, if you look at Naruto encounter with Nagato, so this is where I believe something could possibly change in terms of the Akatsuki basically playing a role into the next generation Naruto, if this is like actually going to happen. But it's not going to happen, you know, it's hypothetical. This is a scenario that I'm just thinking about. But basically, when Naruto met Nagato, Nagato explained to him the original purpose, the original reasoning they created the Akatsuki, you know, that he wanted to be peaceful. He didn't want it to be this fucking evil tyrant group that basically ruled over everybody else and went everybody else neck, but basically trying to do the right thing. So if you think about it, that could have played a big role on Naruto, on top of Nagato being an Uzumaki, and Naruto could later on find that out through his, you know, lineage and stuff like that, by basically realizing that his man was a Uzumaki along with Karin and him. So if you think about it, Naruto could have probably used the name of the Akatsuki basically to, you know, keep like a secret order into the Boruto next generation. If you look at the beginning of the chapter for the Boruto manga, we got Kawaki coming against Boruto, basically talking about this is the end of Shinobi. You know, you're gonna be fading away just like I faded away the 7th. You know, you're not gonna be there just like the 7 Hokage's not there anymore. We're gonna get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where you can possibly see Boruto actually being one of those people that might have an idea that there's this secret organization. What if Naruto and Sasuke decided to create an Akatsuki, basically using the same representation as Conan, Yahiko, and as well as Nagato? Because if you look at when Conan fought against Tobi or Obito, she talks about the jacket, and you know, he calls her a traitor, but she told him, she was like, these clouds represent peace. This was our symbol before you even came and like infiltrated, before you even thought of this idea, or basically before you added your like nasty seeds and your evil plot twist into it. We always had like representation of these clouds. These clouds always had like a good purpose. They always had a good meaning. They was always for the right reasons and not complete wrong reasons. So every intention that we actually did, even though it was maybe a bad thing to do, you know, it was still something that we wanted to see prosper in terms of peace and like, you know, getting this perfect world. So basically we have Sasuke, basically as you saw at the beginning of the end, basically when Sasuke went on his Gaiden and he was basically trying to atone for his sins, you know, as he was going throughout the world, he could have later on met some like other ninjas and basically like added them to the Akatsuki in terms if they wanted to call it. We know we have the Shinobi Allied Forces, but this could be like the secret group, because if you think about it, if you look at Shikamaru's tale, if you've been watching the recent episodes of Naruto, basically in Shikamaru's tale, you know, Kakashi is still doing things without actually including the allied Shinobi forces. That way he doesn't make a big scene, big commotion, have everybody in it. He's still trying to do everything in the shadows on his own. So maybe even Kakashi could have a hand in it. Kakashi, Naruto, you know, the original Team 7, they could have their own like hand in it, and basically having this secret order that basically keeps peace throughout the Shinobi world. And you know, at some point, you know, they all have to come together in order to basically stop Kawaki, or stop the fall of the Naruto world, or stop like basically this ultimate war from breaking out, basically a 5th great ninja war. If that was the case, it probably would be on some next level shit. Just think about like the next generation, right? If we had the next generation of Akatsuki, but they weren't actually evil and they weren't trying to get like an infinite Tsukuyomi dream, but the dream of the Akatsuki was to actually like prosper and continue to make things better. And you know, they had like people like Naruto, people like Kakashi, people like Sasuke, as well as Sakura, Hinata, and then like neighboring villages, maybe Darui, the Kazekage as in Gaara, you know, the Mizukage. You know, we had like all these different people like as in this secret society, kind of like if you guys watch Avatar The Last Airbender, it was like the White Lotus, which was a secret society that was kept in the background basically in times of danger and times of need. You know, they all came together and they gathered themselves and basically did what they had to do. Because you got to think about it, like they have people like Orochimaru, you know, just sitting in the background with the weapons dealer and stuff like that. You know, they have them, and he even stated himself that they they're keeping us around for mutual interest in terms of when they need us, and we're kind of like pets, we're kind of like dogs, you know, we're so different, we're not like normal people. He even stated to Sasuke as well as the weapons dealer, he was like, we're not normal, you know, why do the people of the Leaf Village keep us around? They keep us around because we're different from normal people. When things get bad, what they're going to use us for, you know, Sasuke having the Rinnegan, also having the Sharingan, Orochimaru being this master of all these forbidden jutsu and the secret techniques. And if you think about it as well, Orochimaru is still a member of the Akatsuki. Like, if you think about it, he still has his ring. A lot of people will say, well, Orochimaru left the group and stuff like that, but you got to think about it, he still was a part of the Akatsuki. And even at some point, Sasuke was still a part of the Akatsuki, as well as Karin, Jugo, and Suigetsu. So we still have members of the Akatsuki living, it just was in different terms. You know, they joined on like a different segment. You know, even though they left and they kind of branched out, they could just have their own little ring of Akatsuki instead of being Naruto and the Leaf Village, like I stated before. It could be just Jugo, you know, Sasuke, Karin, and Orochimaru basically plotting on whenever something goes bad, or they can have like other ninjas added to it, or maybe Sasuke can stray off again or something like that. But I don't really see Sasuke straying off, because if you looked at his arc, you could see that he's really like atoning for his sins. He believes in the right things now. He's not basically doing it for self-power. He's actually doing it to protect the Leaf. And you know, even when he was fighting in the Coliseum, he freed all those ninja and basically said, anybody that want these eyes, you can come and get them. And he basically defeated every ninja that approached him and basically freed every ninja in there. So that shit was basically dope as fuck. So if you're not watching that, I think you need to catch up or like get on to it. But the thing is, you know, we have Sasuke, who's still an Akatsuki member. You know, he's still alive and he's training Boruto. And you know, he basically, Boruto wants to follow his path. So maybe even if it's not the older people of the generation from the next generation of Naruto, basically like Naruto, Sakura, and them, basically it could probably be Boruto, you know, Mitsuki, maybe neighboring kids, maybe neighboring villages. You know, basically Sasuke, as he's traveling around, he could like recruit his own little secret alliance, basically having it basically in times of like when the order is fucked up and shit like that. So it's probably one of those more far-fetched ideas, but if you look at it, there's possibilities, you know, because we still have Orochimaru, we still have Sasuke, Karin, Jugo, and Suigetsu all alive, basically just ready just to do some shit. You know, why is Orochimaru still around? I'm surprised Naruto didn't even kill him. And the fact that his son Mitsuki is helping and part of Team 7, that's so weird. Like, he already has like its twisted ass background. I understand, like, at some points I do think he's just gonna leave the village and just like fuck it, go and do his own shit. But at the same time, I do have a good feeling that Mitsuki is not gonna go that route. I think Orochimaru understands, like, you know, he still has to protect the Leaf, because even in the end, though Orochimaru had his own like weird ass interests, he attacked the Leaf Village and he went up against all of them and just didn't care about like the village itself. He still came back and he helped save the world. You know, he stopped Madara. He basically brought back the Hokages, and he as well as helping Sasuke basically come back. It was so weird, like, you know, that's fucking crazy. And like Kabuto became an orphanage leader and stuff like that. You gotta think about the shit Kabuto like went through. Even Sasuke questioned it. Sasuke was like, what the hell? But Orochimaru stated, you know, are you gonna question the powers of Itachi Uchiha, because Itachi Uchiha is the reason why, you know. So we got like so many different like ideas running through my brain. Let me know what you think about this speculation. Let me know what you think about this scenario. Let me know just how you feel about it. You know, right now I'm just probably rambling towards the end, but all in all, this is just more for discussion. You know, let me know. I'll be in the comment section. If you have any ideas for what if series, you know, leave those in there. And basically, with that being said, my name is Shino Ben Trill. Stay true and stay real. I hope you guys liked the video and you enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Have a blessed day. Bye.